Start with why. How great leaders inspire everyone to take action. Author Simon Sinek. Introduction. Start with Why is a book written by Simon Sinek, a motivational speaker and leadership expert. The book explores the concept of the golden circle, which is based on the idea that great leaders and organizations start with a clear understanding of their why, their purpose, cause, or belief, before moving on to the how and what of their work. Through numerous examples, Sinek illustrates how starting with why can lead to greater success, loyalty, and impact. He argues that when people understand why they are doing something, they are more motivated and committed to the work, leading to better results. The book is relevant not only for business leaders, but also for anyone interested in personal growth and finding their own sense of purpose. It encourages readers to reflect on their own why, and to use that understanding to guide their actions and decisions. Overall, Start with Why is a thought-provoking and inspiring read that challenges readers to think differently about leadership, success, and the power of purpose. Part 1. A world that doesn't start with why. Chapter 1. Assume you know. In Chapter 1, Simon Sinek introduces the concept of assuming we know something when we really don't. He explains that we often assume we understand the motivations and behaviors of others, as well as our own, without ever examining or questioning them. Sinek argues that this is a dangerous way to approach our lives and work, as assumptions can lead to misunderstandings, missed opportunities, and even failure. He suggests that we need to challenge our assumptions and seek a deeper understanding of our own motivations and the motivations of those around us. To illustrate his point, Sinek uses the example of the Wright brothers and their pursuit of flight. He explains that the Wright brothers succeeded where others had failed because they started with a clear why, to enable people to fly. This sense of purpose drove them to continuously test and improve their designs until they achieved success. In contrast, others who were also trying to achieve flight at the time were focused on the what of flight, building bigger and more powerful engines, without a clear sense of why they were doing it. As a result, they were never able to achieve the same level of success as the Wright brothers. Overall, Chapter 1 of Start with Why encourages readers to question their assumptions and start with a clear understanding of their why in order to achieve greater success and fulfillment in their lives and work. Chapter 2. Carrots and Sticks. In Chapter 2, Simon Sinek discusses the limitations of using external motivators, or carrots and sticks, to drive behavior. He argues that while external motivators can be effective in the short term, they do not create lasting change or inspire individuals to do their best work. Sinek uses the example of a business owner who is struggling to motivate his employees to increase productivity. The owner tries offering incentives such as bonuses and promotions as a carrot to motivate his employees, and also threatens punishment such as layoffs or demotions as a stick to discourage poor performance. However, Sinek explains that while these external motivators may produce some short-term results, they do not inspire employees to do their best work or create a sense of loyalty and dedication to the company. Instead, he suggests that the business owner should focus on creating a strong sense of purpose and a clear why for his employees to rally around. Sinek argues that when people understand and believe in the purpose behind their work, they are more likely to be motivated to give their best effort and make meaningful contributions. He suggests that leaders should focus on creating a culture of trust and collaboration, where employees feel valued and empowered to make a difference. Overall, Chapter 2 of Start with Why emphasizes the importance of intrinsic motivation and a sense of purpose in driving behavior and creating lasting change. It encourages leaders to move beyond external motivators and focus on building a culture of purpose and meaning. Part 2. An Alternative Perspective. Chapter 3. The Golden Circle. In Chapter 3, Simon Sinek introduces the concept of the Golden Circle, which is a framework for understanding the importance of starting with why. The Golden Circle consists of 3 layers. The outer layer is what, the middle layer is how, and the innermost layer is why. Sinek argues that most organizations and individuals focus on the outer layer, what, when they should be starting with the innermost layer, why. He uses the example of Apple Inc. to illustrate the power of starting with why. Apple's why is to challenge the status quo and think differently, which has led to the creation of innovative products that have transformed industries. By starting with why, Apple has been able to create a loyal customer base who believe in their purpose and are willing to pay a premium for their products. Sinek explains that starting with why is not just important for organizations, but also for individuals. By understanding our own why, we can better align our actions and decisions with our values and purpose. Overall, Chapter 3 of Start With Why emphasizes the importance of starting with why and using the Golden Circle framework to understand how it can drive behavior and success. It encourages individuals and organizations to focus on their purpose and values, rather than just their products or services. Chapter 4. This is not opinion, this is biology. In Chapter 4, Simon Sinek delves into the biology of human behavior and explains how the brain responds to different forms of communication and motivation. Sinek introduces the concept of the limbic system, which is the part of the brain responsible for decision-making and emotions. He explains that the limbic system responds to certain types of communication, such as stories and metaphors, more strongly than to facts and figures. Sinek argues that starting with why and communicating a clear sense of purpose is a powerful way to engage the limbic system and create a deeper connection with others. By tapping into our emotions and values, we are more likely to be inspired and motivated to take action. He also discusses the role of dopamine, a chemical in the brain associated with pleasure and reward. Sinek explains that when we achieve a goal or receive positive feedback, our brains release dopamine, which creates a sense of pleasure and motivation to continue pursuing that behavior. Sinek suggests that by creating a sense of purpose and providing positive feedback, leaders can help their employees and teams achieve greater success and satisfaction in their work. Overall, Chapter 4 of Start With Why highlights the importance of understanding the biology of human behavior and using effective communication and motivation techniques to inspire and engage others. It encourages readers to tap into their emotions and values, rather than just facts and figures, to create a deeper sense of purpose and meaning. Chapter 5. Clarity, Discipline, and Consistency. In Chapter 5, Simon Sinek emphasizes the importance of clarity, discipline, and consistency in achieving long-term success and fulfilling one's purpose. Sinek explains that having a clear sense of purpose and a strong why is only the first step. In order to make that purpose a reality, one must have discipline and consistency in their actions and decisions. He uses the example of Martin Luther King Jr., who had a clear sense of purpose and a powerful why, but also had the discipline to lead a nonviolent movement and consistently pursue his goals. Sinek argues that it was King's discipline and consistency that allowed him to achieve such significant progress in the civil rights movement. Sinek also stresses the importance of being consistent in communicating one's purpose and values, both to internal team members and external audiences. By consistently communicating a clear message, one can create a sense of trust and loyalty among followers. Overall, Chapter 5 of Start With Why highlights the importance of not only having a clear sense of purpose, but also having the discipline and consistency to pursue that purpose over the long term. It encourages readers to stay true to their values and consistently communicate their message in order to build trust and loyalty among followers. Part 3. Leaders Need a Following. Chapter 6. The Emergence of Trust. In Chapter 6, Simon Sinek discusses the importance of trust in building strong relationships and achieving success. Sinek explains that trust is not just a feeling, but an actual biological response in the brain. When we trust someone, our brains release oxytocin, a chemical that creates feelings of warmth and connection. Conversely, when we do not trust someone, our brains release cortisol, a chemical that creates feelings of stress and anxiety. Sinek argues that trust is essential in leadership and that leaders must take the responsibility to build trust with their teams and followers. He suggests that leaders can build trust by being transparent, sharing information openly, and being willing to admit mistakes. He also emphasizes the importance of creating a sense of belonging and shared purpose among team members. When individuals feel that they are part of a larger cause and are valued for their contributions, they are more likely to trust their leaders and colleagues. Overall, Chapter 6 of Start With Why highlights the importance of trust in building strong relationships and achieving success. It encourages leaders to prioritize building trust with their teams and followers by being transparent, admitting mistakes, and creating a sense of shared purpose and belonging. Chapter 7. How a Tipping Point Tips. In Chapter 7, Simon Sinek discusses the concept of the tipping point and how it relates to the spread of ideas and movements. Sinek explains that the tipping point is the moment when an idea, trend, or behavior crosses a threshold and becomes widely accepted and adopted by a larger group of people. He suggests that the tipping point occurs when a critical mass of people adopt a new behavior or idea, which then creates a domino effect that leads to widespread adoption. Sinek argues that the tipping point is not just about the number of people who adopt a new behavior or idea, but also about the quality of those relationships. He suggests that the strength of the relationships among the early adopters is what ultimately determines whether the idea or behavior will spread. Sinek also emphasizes the importance of focusing on the early adopters and creating a sense of belonging and purpose among them. By nurturing these relationships and creating a community around the idea or behavior, leaders can help to create a tipping point that leads to widespread adoption. Overall, Chapter 7 of Start With Why highlights the importance of the tipping point in spreading ideas and movements. It encourages leaders to focus on building strong relationships among the early adopters and creating a sense of community and purpose around the idea or behavior in order to create a domino effect that leads to widespread adoption. Part 4. How to Rally Those Who Believe. Chapter 8. Start with Why, but Know How. In Chapter 8, Simon Sinek discusses the importance of combining the why with the how in order to achieve success. Sinek explains that while starting with why is essential in creating a sense of purpose and direction, it is not enough on its own. In order to turn a vision into reality, one must also have a clear understanding of how to make it happen. Sinek suggests that the how can be broken down into 3 components: clarity, discipline, and consistency. These components help to ensure that the vision remains focused and is consistently pursued over time. He also emphasizes the importance of hiring people who share the same values and purpose, but who also have the necessary skills and expertise to execute the how. Sinek suggests that this combination of purpose and expertise is what leads to successful teams and organizations. Overall, Chapter 8 of Start With Why highlights the importance of combining the why with the how in order to achieve success. It encourages leaders to have a clear understanding of how to execute their vision and to hire people who share their values and purpose, but who also have the necessary skills and expertise to make it happen. Chapter 9. Know Why, Know How, Then What. In Chapter 9, Simon Sinek discusses the importance of the what in achieving success. Sinek explains that the what is the tangible manifestation of the why and the how. It is the product, service, or result that the organization produces. While the why provides the purpose and direction and the how provides the process, the what provides the concrete outcome. Sinek suggests that the what is important because it is what people can see, touch, and experience. It is what the market responds to and what generates revenue and profit. However, he also warns that focusing too much on the what can lead to short-term thinking and a loss of purpose. Sinek argues that the key to achieving sustainable success is to maintain a balance between the why, how, and what. Leaders must have a clear understanding of their purpose and values, have a disciplined and consistent process, and produce high-quality products or services. Overall, Chapter 9 of Start With Why highlights the importance of the what in achieving success, but also emphasizes the need to maintain a balance between the why, how, and what. It encourages leaders to have a clear understanding of their purpose and values, maintain a disciplined and consistent process, and produce high-quality products or services in order to achieve sustainable success. Chapter 10. Communication is not about speaking, it's about listening. In Chapter 10, Simon Sinek emphasizes the importance of listening as a critical component of effective communication. Sinek explains that communication is not just about speaking, but also about listening. He suggests that many people focus too much on what they want to say and not enough on what the other person is saying. This can lead to miscommunication, misunderstandings, and missed opportunities. Sinek argues that effective communication requires active listening, which involves paying attention to the other person, asking questions, and seeking to understand their perspective. He suggests that active listening is essential for building strong relationships, creating trust, and achieving success. Sinek also emphasizes the importance of authenticity in communication. He suggests that people are more likely to listen and respond positively when they feel that the speaker is genuine and sincere. Overall, Chapter 10 of Start with Why highlights the importance of listening as a critical component of effective communication. It encourages leaders to focus on active listening, seek to understand the perspectives of others, and be authentic in their communication in order to build strong relationships, create trust, and achieve success. Part 5. The biggest challenge is success. Chapter 11, When Why Goes Fuzzy. In Chapter 11, Simon Sinek discusses what happens when an organization loses its sense of purpose, and the why becomes fuzzy or unclear. Sinek explains that when an organization loses its sense of purpose, it can lead to a loss of motivation, innovation, and direction. He suggests that this can happen when the organization becomes too focused on the what, such as profits or market share, and loses sight of the why. Sinek argues that in order to avoid losing sight of the why, organizations must continue to communicate their purpose and values both internally and externally. He suggests that this can be achieved through clear and consistent messaging, storytelling, and a focus on building relationships with customers and employees. Sinek also emphasizes the importance of adapting to change and being open to new ideas and opportunities. He suggests that organizations must be willing to evolve and change their strategies in order to stay true to their purpose and continue to grow. Overall, Chapter 11 of Start with Why highlights the importance of maintaining a clear sense of purpose and values in order to stay motivated, innovative, and focused. It encourages organizations to communicate their purpose and values clearly, be open to change, and focus on building strong relationships with customers and employees in order to avoid losing sight of the why. Chapter 12, Split Happiness. In Chapter 12, Simon Sinek discusses the concept of split happiness, which he defines as the difference between short-term and long-term happiness. Sinek explains that short-term happiness is often based on immediate gratification, such as material possessions or status, and is often fleeting. In contrast, long-term happiness is based on a sense of purpose and fulfillment, and is often more sustainable and meaningful. Sinek argues that many people and organizations focus too much on short-term happiness, such as achieving financial success or reaching a specific goal, at the expense of long-term happiness. He suggests that this can lead to a loss of purpose and fulfillment, and can ultimately be detrimental to both individuals and organizations. Sinek encourages individuals and organizations to focus on long-term happiness by identifying and pursuing their purpose and values, and by embracing a growth mindset. He suggests that this can lead to greater fulfillment, motivation, and success in the long run. Overall, Chapter 12 of Start with Why highlights the importance of understanding the difference between short-term and long-term happiness, and encourages individuals and organizations to prioritize long-term happiness by embracing their purpose and values, and by adopting a growth mindset. Part 6. Discover Why. Chapter 13. The Origins of a Why. In Chapter 13, Simon Sinek explores the origins of a why and how it can be discovered or rediscovered by individuals and organizations. Sinek suggests that a why is often based on a deep-rooted belief or value that has been shaped by personal experiences, upbringing, and cultural influences. He argues that discovering or rediscovering a why can be a transformative experience that can lead to greater fulfillment, motivation, and success. Sinek offers several strategies for discovering or rediscovering a why, including reflecting on personal values and beliefs, identifying meaningful life experiences, and seeking feedback and insights from others. He suggests that the process of discovering or rediscovering a why can take time and effort, but can ultimately be a rewarding and transformative experience. Sinek also emphasizes the importance of aligning an organization's why with the why of its employees and customers. He suggests that this can lead to greater engagement, loyalty, and success. Overall, Chapter 13 of Start with Why highlights the importance of discovering or rediscovering a why and aligning it with the why of others in order to achieve greater fulfillment, motivation, and success. It encourages individuals and organizations to reflect on their values and beliefs, seek feedback and insights from others, and embrace the transformative power of a why. Chapter 14. The New Competition. In Chapter 14, Simon Sinek discusses the concept of the new competition and how it differs from traditional forms of competition. Sinek argues that the new competition is not based on price, quality, or features, but rather on the ability of an organization to inspire and engage its employees and customers through a clear sense of purpose and values. He suggests that organizations that focus on building strong relationships with their employees and customers, and on communicating a clear sense of purpose, are better positioned to succeed in the new competition. Sinek offers several examples of organizations that have succeeded in the new competition by embracing a sense of purpose and values, including Apple, Southwest Airlines, and Harley-Davidson. He suggests that these organizations have been able to differentiate themselves from their competitors by creating a strong emotional connection with their customers and employees. Sinek also emphasizes the importance of leadership in building a strong sense of purpose and values within an organization. He suggests that leaders who are able to inspire and motivate their employees through a clear sense of purpose are more likely to succeed in the new competition. Overall, Chapter 14 of Start With Why highlights the importance of building strong relationships with employees and customers through a clear sense of purpose and values in order to succeed in the new competition. It encourages organizations to differentiate themselves from their competitors by creating a strong emotional connection with their stakeholders and to focus on leadership as a key driver of success. Recapitulation. The main topic of Start With Why by Simon Sinek is the importance of purpose in driving successful organizations. The book argues that great leaders and organizations start with why they do what they do, rather than focusing solely on what they do or how they do it. Sinek argues that a clear sense of purpose provides a compelling reason for why an organization exists, and inspires employees and customers alike. By starting with why, organizations can tap into the limbic brain, which is responsible for our feelings, behavior, and decision-making, and motivate people to act. The book emphasizes the importance of communicating the why in a clear and consistent way, both internally to employees and externally to customers. Sinek provides practical advice for how to articulate and communicate the why, such as using simple and inspiring language and telling stories that illustrate the purpose in action. Through numerous examples of successful organizations, such as Apple and Southwest Airlines, that have built their success on a clear sense of purpose, Sinek illustrates how starting with why can lead to sustainable success. He also provides examples of organizations that have failed to start with why, and as a result, have struggled to maintain their success. Overall, the main lesson of the book is that purpose is the key to driving successful organizations. By starting with why, organizations can inspire and motivate employees and customers, communicate their values and vision, and achieve sustainable success over the long term.